In other news, the Trump administration announced Tuesday that the United States is withdrawing from the United Nations Human Rights Council. Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and U.S. Ambassador to the UN, Nikki Haley, delivered the message in a joint press conference. They noted that the UN was warned a year ago that the U.S. would stay in the Council only if essential reforms were achieved. They decried the membership of countries such as China, Cuba, and Venezuela that are themselves accused of rights violations. And they further criticized what they called the Council's chronic bias against Israel. Pompeo acknowledged the noble vision of the Council, but said it had devolved into a body of politicizing and scapegoating in order to defend offending nations.
The Human Rights Council is a poor defender of human rights. Worse than that, the Human Rights Council has become an exercise in shameless hypocrisy, with many of the world's worst human rights abuses going ignored.
Haley said that the U.S. would be happy to rejoin the Council if reform takes place. Finally tonight, an update on the dire situation in Syria for the Christian population there. We're joined by Father Alexi Chehadeh. He is the Director of Ecumenical Relations for the Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch, one of the oldest, if not the oldest, churches in the world. Father, thank you for being here.
Thank you for inviting me.
Now let's talk about the situation for Christians in Syria. There were 2 million. Now we're down to 899,000. What is the situation on the ground? It is, as we described in the open, fairly dire.
First, thank you very much for the invitation. I am very honored and pleased to be here with you.
We're delighted.
And to discuss with you the crisis which began 2011. We had in Syria more or less 10% of the whole population Christians. At that time, Syria had 23 millions, whereas today we are talking about only 18 millions living in Syria. Because during the crisis, we lost people in the term that they left Syria. And more than 5 million, they are outside of Syria, whereas we have 6.1 million IDPs, internally displaced people in Syria. So till 2015, Christians didn't leave Syria. So they really accepted all the war circumstances there and remained in Syria. But in 2015, some borders to Syria were opened from Turkey to Greece and then to Europe.
ISIS swept in. They destroyed churches, whole communities. Give us a sense of what was happening and what continues to happen. I know there are still, you have missing bishops, you have a Catholic priest who was flogged with rubber hoses, dragged through the streets. Give me a sense of how this looks from the ground.
Now, newly, as you know, East Ghouta was liberated, and a Nusra Front left the area.
Right.
And there we have two towns, Harasta and Erbil. We went there and we found everything destroyed. The town, the churches, everything what people left before leaving now is destroyed. Therefore, where ISIS was, everywhere, they destroyed everything. And we have seen, if you open YouTube, you can see them destroying the figures of Saint Mary, Jesus, churches, icons, even in Ma'lula, Saint Tekla.
Right.
You know, she is the disciple of St. Paul. So this monastery was even destroyed. We renovated the monastery. And now the church, and we are preparing everything, as I said, that the nuns can come. They just in one word, they were kidnapped for 4 months. And now the kidnapped bishops of Aleppo, now the 5th years, and we have no news, anything, only rumors about them. And I used this interview to ask everybody, even the U.S. administration, to help in finding the fate of both metropolitans, John Ibrahim and Boulos Yazigi.
No, it's really, it's unbelievable that after all this time, there's still no word on their whereabouts at all. You run the largest NGO in Syria. You're operating all over Syria, serving millions of people. Give me a sense of what you're doing and why this work is so important now.
I belong to the Greek Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch and all the East. His Beatitude, Patriarch John X, is the head of the church. His Beatitude called us the charitable arm of the church. And we have our symbol, the Good Samaritan. And this guides us to help everyone following the steps, the footsteps of the Good Samaritan.
And you're rebuilding homes, rebuilding schools, communities, churches. I mean, it's really everything. You're really rebuilding civil society.
We are working in all sectors. But it's very important also, not only to give the service to the people in order just to serve them, but bringing people together of different affiliations, religious or ethnic, together. It's in order even to have a harmonious society and to rebuild the coexistence between all Syrians, and at the same time to prepare them for the future, for the peace in Syria. So, for instance, when we are doing psychosocial support for different people of different areas, they came together for a week. They stay there together. At the first day, when they came together, they feel they are enemies. Because you are this, you are that, you are Shia, you are Sunni, you are Christian, you are Druze, whatever. But then they realize on the next day that all of them have the same faith. They are missing some relatives, some family members, somebody killed. So they realize that all victims of this war. So they started to become friends. At the last day, they will exchange emails, Facebook, whatever, cell phone numbers, and be in touch with each other. And in this, what we do, those people finishing the course, the psychosocial course, they will go outside to their communities and be our ambassadors. They are telling about the good work the church does, and at the same time, they tell that all of us are victims of the war. We don't have to really conflict with each other, but we can rebuild Syria in order to have a better future for everyone.
Before I let you go, you do this work at great personal peril. I know you've been targeted personally. Those around you have been wounded. Give me a sense of what that's like, and why do you continue this work?
I'm not better than my Lord, Jesus Christ. He died on the cross for the whole, for the entire world. So when I do 1/10% or much less than what he does for the world, so it's nothing. So my life is not worthy when I compare it with the lives of hundreds, thousands of millions of people. So therefore, I will continue this work with the blessing and prayer of his Beatitude, Patriarch John X. And no matter if I will wound it or target it, this will not let me go a step back. It's the opposite. I will continue this work until the end of my life, or when I will do something else in the church. But so long I am the director of this organization, I will continue the work. And I have visited all governorates. By the way, for instance, I visited not only Aleppo, I went also to Raqqa, to Deir ez-Zor, to Hasaki, to Qamishli, and I celebrated the Divine Liturgy in Qamishli. In Qamishli there, it's the first time after years that somebody's Orthodox, Christian, celebrated the Divine Liturgy there. It was amazing for the people living the Divine Liturgy after that much years.
Terror, yes. Where is USAID? Vice President Pence announced a change in policy in October where particularly religious groups on the ground would be given that aid directly to get around the bureaucracy. It seems, to my eyes, the bureaucracy here in Washington has stymied that help. As in so many other areas of the government, the Trump administration appoints people at the top of them, but you have career bureaucrats beneath. And apparently that aid, the aid that would normally go to people in your region, have gone to the White Helmets, which is a part of the Muslim Brotherhood, who are Sunni Muslims only targeting and helping Muslims. Where's the aid that should be coming to you? Has it lessened from the United States?
First, I would like really to thank all our partners worldwide. We have 22 partners worldwide, UN agencies in Syria and others outside of Syria operating with us in order to help the Syrians, all Syrians, Muslims and Christians. Because we are the church, the largest one, the largest organization, we are trying to help everybody because people are awaiting this help from you. So people are awaiting our assistance, and we are awaiting the assistance of USAID and other US organizations to assist us in order to have enough to help others.
Yeah.
I would kindly ask them to rethink about their funds, and if this money is only for humanitarian purpose, I think Goppa Dirt is eligible and the most one eligible in Syria to receive funds from USAID and other US organizations. We have only 1/10 nowadays of the money we had in 2013, 2015, and it's nothing compared with the needs of the people, especially after the USA and alliances or people working on this to defeat ISIS. Now we have a lot of people, they are jobless, they are in need, they need their houses to be rehabilitated, schools, infrastructure, churches, mosques, everything. So we have to help all these people to have a better future in Syria, and USAID and other US organizations are welcomed to help us in order to assist the people in Syria.
Father Chehadeh, thank you so much for being here.
God bless you.
Our prayers go with you, and keep us in your prayers. And for more information on the Orthodox Patriarchate of Antioch, Father Alexi's work on behalf of Syrian Christians and all those in the region, and how you can help, go to the Patriarchate's website. They're at GOPADERD, Goppa Dirt, GOPADERD.org.